Okay, well today's question is a continuation of what we were doing the last day, and we have a few bits that we have to finish off. So if we look carefully at the question that we have, this is basically what we have. So in order to finish off fully, we have this part D, determine the true shape of surface S, so we have to get the true shape of this bit. When we found surface S in the elevation, we haven't got the true shape of it. We have hidden detail, so the windows are going to stick in and the door is going to stick in, so there's definitely going to be some hidden detail here. Maybe something around the porch as well, we'd have to see. And then the other thing that we have to do is the porch itself, and this is the bit that we've been leaving for today. The curved part here, we have to figure this out, and that's grand in elevation. We look straight in it, that looked like a curve. We look straight down on it, we're going to get a different sort of shape. We're going to actually get a half of an ellipse shape here. So to figure out, well, how do we do that? And then we look at it from the side, it's actually going to look, this edge here is going to look like a line. So it's sort of going to look like a bit of a rectangle on that side. So anyways, we'll start with the curved part here first. So the first thing that we hadn't done was, we hadn't drawn our circle here. So I'm going to do it in just a different colour, just for it to stand out the bit that we're doing today. So maybe I'll take a dark, well, maybe not too dark, sort of a greeny blue colour. So I don't want to be too dark, just because sometimes some of the darker colours look like black on the visualizer, but that looks okay. So from the front, hopefully most of you realise that we'd see this as a semicircle. Adjust my compass slightly. Okay. So there we go. So there's the front surface. Let me just see. Yeah, it's coming into focus there. Sorry, sometimes the lights are a bit bright. So that's basically what it looks like from the front view. Now then from the side view, if you look at this edge here, this edge here of it, is going to be on that roof. So that's literally going to just go straight across and look like an angle. So we'll mark out the two various bits of that. So we'll draw this straight across. And we bring this up. So that was where my porch was going to go. So I have a semicircle at the front, which is this bit, and this bit here would technically be, I'd only see it as a line view. I see it as an edge there. Okay, so hopefully that sort of bluish colour stands out. And then obviously I have the line straight across the top where that edge would exist. So there's my end view done. So now I have a problem. I can start to bring this down, and we got the front edge of the porch. So again, that's this bit here. And maybe actually if I draw this bit just to stand it out in a green. So we'll say, hopefully that's dark enough, or that's not too dark. So that's green. So that's that surface there. Right, so that darker green surface is here. Okay, so again, unfortunately, they don't stand out 100%. Right, so, or maybe actually what we'll do is just for the sake of it, we'll just shade it with a yellow. So that yellow edge there will be that yellow edge there, and will be that yellow edge here. So this edge here, or sort of teal colour, is a bit of a problem. Right? So all we do is we come back to this and we split it into equal parts. Now depending on how complicated this part is, we could split it into 60 and 30, or we could split it into 45. Now I think 45 will actually be fine for this, because I think there'll be enough points there to sketch our curve. Right? There's no point making too much work for a curve. 60 and 30 would also be fine. And what I'll do then is I'll label these points. I'm going to call it 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So just to get an idea of where these are, can't really see 1 because it's at the back, but we'll say 2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there, and 5 is there. So they're basically sort of the points that I've split out. So what I need to do is I obviously need to see them looking down on top as well. So 3 is handy because I found it. 2 and 4 are in line and they're there. And then 1 and 5 is actually here at the bottom. Okay. So all I do then, and I'll keep all this in the same blue, I'll bring down this point here. I'll bring down this point here. I already have this point here brought down, but I'll just use a blue, I suppose, just to show that it's been brought down again. So these then will go down at 45. 45. And this one here now might make us look a bit black because it's going on top of another coloured line. So if I bring this across, and again this may look black, bring this across, sorry, bring that across the full width, because I need it for both sides, for the 1 and the 5. Bring this across, and bring this across. So what I know basically is 1 and 5 have to be along this line, 2 and 4 have to be along this line, and 3 has to be along this line. And then I also know that they have to be below itself. So if I bring down 1, that's where 1, so that's where 1 is along this line and also along this line. 2, okay, so 2 has to be below itself. And if I follow this across and down, and then across has to be here, 3 has to be here. So if I follow 3 across, probably draw that in the bluish colour. Right, so if I follow 3 across, 3 must be here, bring it down, bring it across, there's 3. And I suppose if I sketch it now, there's basically the start of my ellipse shape. So I'll do the same, obviously I have to get 4 and 5 as well, just to get the other side of it. So that's that, and I'll just use the teal colour to show it. So there's 4, so if I follow 4 around, and there's 5. So I now have my curve figured out as to what it would look like in plan, and that's basically that. So I could take my black marker there and heavy that in. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to that, but that's basically the method. The more of that you get in, so even splitting this into say different sections, 45 degrees, 36 degrees, and then sketching it in plan is going to get you something. If you bring it across, it's going to get you something. So it might take a little bit of time. The more you practice, the better you'll get. But the most important thing is to get as much of it in each time as you can, and then over time you'll get used to the method. So the next part then is some hidden detail. So as we know, the window is going to have some hidden detail when it comes in from the side. So basically, if I'm looking at the front of it, here, there's going to be a 5mm edge in here that I haven't used yet. So that's basically how far the window is going to sit back. So here we go. This is basically it here. And we'll come in 5mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use maybe this. I'm going to see, I'll use a darker blue. So a light blue might stand out too close to that too. So hopefully that stands out as being blue rather than black. Dark. So there's basically the window. I have the same issue with the door. So the door here that we brought across also comes in 5mm. So that will be basically here. Okay, and then obviously if I think about it, if I look down and plan, I'm going to have the same issue. So basically the door, I have to bring down to 45 degrees. Is the most accurate way of doing it. And bringing it across. And so there's my space for my door there. Now I suppose there's one thing that I should probably have done first, and that just makes it a little bit confusing as to why is it there. There's also a ridge for this. So basically when I look down on top, there's an underside there that I haven't marked in yet. So basically when I look down, this edge here isn't going to be seen. So there would be some hidden detail coming across like so, and the same at the back. So that was the use of those lines. And again, it's very important that I brought these down, brought them down 45, because even if I wasn't sure if they were hidden detail, I'd still get some mark for constructing that line, even if I didn't get the time or wasn't able to come back and put it in at 45 degrees. So I'll do the same for the window. When I look down from the top, the window is going to look in, and again, you should be using your T-square and set squares for drawing these in. I'm just sort of using that just to speed me up a little bit. So I think that's the main part of the hidden detail done. So I have a bit in every view. I think that's the only things that I would see. So I'm happy enough with that. So the last part then is the true shape of surface S. So that's basically this part that we have here. I'm going to write S on this just to make sure. So there's a few different ways we can do this. Today we're going to do the rotation method. I might look at maybe 3 different methods of doing this if we have time. Well, 2 anyway, right? So S here, the problem with S is because it's at a slope, we're not going to be able to see it, right? So I suppose the first thing that I could do to make sure that I got some marks is redraw S exactly the same size down here, right? So if I redrew it down here in the corner, I'm going to get some marks. But if I look at it and I see, well, what's the true length? I'm going to label the points 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this would be 1.1, this would be 2, and then below it would be 3, and then here would be 4. So if I was to label them on this 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is basically where they would end up. So what I could do basically is I could draw it out over here. Now this is sloping away from me, so if I look at it carefully, 1 and 4 is straight up. So I know that that's a true length, and I know, and I'm looking straight at it, and 2 and 3 are true length. But this here is sloping away from me. But when I look down on it straight down from plan, this would be the true length here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this height here of 1 and 4. So it measures approximately 15 millimeters here. I'm going to draw that. Now I should be using my compass just to transfer. So there's 15. And then the other option, what I can do is then take this measurement here from this. So this is 17. Or maybe, well, let's see, 18 or 19. What I'll do is, this would be the more accurate way of doing it. I'm just being lazy because I have to put my pen into my compass. So what I should be doing is using this to mark it off. So this would be the true length there. So what I have there is I had 4 here, I had 1 here, I have this distance here across to 2. And if I bring it down here again, and again I should be taking my, well, I can take my height of 10 millimeters there because that's a set height, because it was given to me here. Alternatively, I would have used my compass there. And that's basically that. Now, it is critical if you have any hope to get full marks for that method, because that's a slightly simpler method than either the auxiliary or the rotation method, that you use numbering to show how exactly you're getting your measurements. Okay, so that's perfectly acceptable method, and as I said, you'd be better off redrawing that down here even if you didn't have the right sizes, because you'd get some attempt for it. Now, how could we actually do it in a different way? So if we imagine this is tilted away from us, but if we rotate it around so that we're looking straight at it, that would also give us a method. So we'll make a hinge point on point 1 there in plan. Okay, now again, sometimes when you're starting off this can be a little bit difficult, but if you do a few of them, you'll see that rotation is quite a common method that's used. So I'm going to rotate that round until it's straight out level with us. Okay, so we can see that I put my compass point on this and I rotated it around. And what I'm going to do now basically is bring up this so that I get the straight view of this. Bring these straight across. This stays in the same spot. 3 comes straight across when it was rotated around. So now I have the new 1 and 4 stayed in the same spot. 2 and 3 were rotated around to here. I'll just use a dark green now to heavy it in. And this is the true shape. So the only difference between this shape and the shape down here, the sizes will be exactly the same. Where I got the distances would be the same, because I use this distance to step it off here. It's just one is backwards to the other. But with regard to figuring out the true shape, it doesn't matter whether it's looking from one way or the other. So the backwards image is also perfectly acceptable. So there's 2 methods. An alternative method would be an auxiliary method, which we'll probably cover in a different video.